Today's meditation from Shalan Harkin's brand new audiobook, The Prophetess, explores the profound and sometimes unsettling journey of transformation. The process of a spiritual awakening is like the natural struggles of seeds, coal, and caterpillars, creatures that resist change but are ultimately driven to evolve into something greater. This process invites us to embrace suffering and vulnerability, not to escape or achieve perfection, but to cultivate a more compassionate and authentic connection with ourselves and the world. Experience the full audiobook free with a trial of Empower You Unlimited Audio. Visit heyhouse.com/empower to start listening today.
Awakening. Speak to us of awakening. And the prophetess spoke. It's okay if you're scared when you're opening. The seed, she was scared too. Do you think the coal wanted to become a diamond? She was scared out of her wits of change. It took her 10,000 years to even be able to pray for it. The acorn was so closed in by the hard walls of his staunch beliefs. Oh, how he protested becoming the regal, generous oak. Have you heard the caterpillar's shrieks of resistance as some bigger force unwelcomely impels it to eat its own form while disclosing nothing of those secret wings? The only difference in us from them is we have an even more stubborn resistance. But ultimately, we are impelled by the same irresistible force to completely self-destruct into a new and improved, yet to be discovered marvel. Do your best to allow this. You too were made for wings. Awakening is a profoundly humble affair, and true humility and true power are one. For to access true power is to connect with the fullness of yourself. It is to hide from and reject nothing of yourself. It is to make yourself a hollow reed through which life's wisdoms can flow. We need a more holistic, humanized, and embodied understanding of awakening, one that doesn't tempt us toward the seductive illusion of suffering's end. Awakening helps us into a new, healthier relationship with suffering, one that no longer identifies with it or puts us apart from it, but rather allows us to directly enter its heart. The process of awakening is to be able to fully feel rather than flee. Here we find there is an old world inside us all, whose wreckage is mercy. There is a way through each wound, and a new temple awaits you at the bottom of your deepest tears. Often, the temple of awakening is the hollow bone of loneliness. Its opening is often found by those who experience unlivable anguish in the cramped conditions of the closed heart, and must break open to the risk of wider possibility. When frailties bleed out and there's no balm to grab save the salve of surrender, awakening doesn't so much close the wound as give purpose to its pouring. Life's fruits often bloom from being such a barren snag that you must graft parts of yourself to God. We must be careful lest we elevate anyone for anything holy they produce, or make awakening into something that sets some above others. More often than not, any wisdom or insight that can truly reach a heart comes from those whose wounds have become so unbearable they must burst into song. Awakening is messy. You don't transcend into some paradisical, elitist inner garden. It doesn't perfect you. You first come into all of the reasons you've so wanted to stay asleep, and there are many very good reasons. We awaken to all the reasons we've so wanted to disassociate from our bodies, those storehouses of mortality and God, where to enter through either door is to have stripped from you the illusion of smallness. Sleeping is relatively painless in its numbed way. To awaken, really, is to begin to feel. As we feel through more pain, we feel more compassion. Awakening is bit by bit coming out of denial around all the reasons we've needed to wield that terrible tool of othering. It is diving into the cracks in our hearts rather than mortaring them, and staying long enough to build kinship with all that was once unbearable inside our own self. It does not look like being perfectly empowered, seamlessly composed. It is to commit with all our hearts to no longer take out our helplessness on anyone else. Awakening isn't characterized by arrival at a stern, stoic, at last invulnerable spirituality. It doesn't come from spiritual mastery defined as overcoming enough of our shortcomings. Rather, it is found in doing our fumbling best to grow into arms strong and loving enough to hold all of our aching humanity. Awakening is the at times compassless and often inglorious inner odyssey toward the rough ruby of all that is bruised and true in our hearts. Awakening isn't only for special people. We're all on our way toward coming out of the sleep cycle. Be not fooled. The myth that awakening looks anything like spiritual perfectionism is perhaps the best sleeping pill.